Welcome, fellow seekers of the strange, to a journey into the darkest corners of human history, where the veil between our world and the unfathomable is terrifyingly thin. Tonight, we delve into the chilling tale of the Shadow Cult, a secret society whose rituals were so disturbing, so utterly beyond comprehension, that their very memory was meticulously erased from official records. But some secrets, like shadows themselves, refuse to truly disappear. They linger, manifesting in unsettling whispers and inexplicable events, becoming part of the haunted history that surrounds us. Imagine, for a moment, an old, forgotten tome, its leather-bound cover cracked and brittle, pages yellowed with age. The air around it feels heavy, charged with a latent energy, as if the very words within hum with a dark power. This isn't just a book, it's a gateway, a whispered invitation to a world where ancient fears walk again. Now, imagine opening that book, its spine groaning in protest, to discover not tales of heroes or sages, but fragmented, cryptic accounts of rituals performed in the deepest night, under the cold, unblinking eyes of the moon. This is where our story begins, not with a bang, but with a slow, creeping dread that takes root in your soul and refuses to let go. You wouldn't want to be alone if you stumbled upon such a relic, for the knowledge it holds is a dangerous burden. The Shadow Cult, or as it was sometimes obliquely referred to in hushed tones, the Midnight Conclave, existed on the fringes of recorded history. Their influence felt more as a cold breeze in an empty room than a direct, documented force. Their origins are shrouded in mystery, believed by some to date back to ancient, pre-Christian eras. Their philosophies rooted in a distorted understanding of the natural world and the unseen forces that govern it. They sought not to worship benevolent deities, but to commune with, and perhaps control, the primordial energies that dwell in the deepest shadows, the entities that predate humanity itself. This isn't your typical ghost story. This is about something far older, far more insidious. These are real ghost stories of a different kind. Their initial gatherings, according to the few surviving fragments of folklore and local legends, were said to take place in secluded, desolate locations. Picture a dense, ancient forest, the trees gnarled and twisted like skeletal fingers, their canopy so thick that perpetual twilight reigns even at noon. The ground beneath is a carpet of damp leaves and decaying matter, smelling of earth and something else, something subtly metallic, like old blood. Deep within such a place, imagine a clearing, perhaps marked by standing stones or a naturally occurring rock formation, where the air grows unnervingly still. It is here, under the cloak of deepest night, that the early cultists would gather, their faces obscured by crude masks of woven reeds or animal bone, their bodies cloaked in rough-spun, dark fabrics. What would you do if you stumbled upon such a scene? A silent tableau of shadowed figures moving with unsettling precision. One particularly unsettling account, whispered among elders in remote villages of Phu Tho Province, Vietnam, speaks of the ritual of the whispering stones. It's said that certain ancient megaliths found in isolated valleys possess a strange resonance, a natural conduit to other realms. The cultists, it's believed, would harness this energy. They would arrange themselves in a precise formation around these stones, chanting in a language long dead, their voices a low, guttural hum that was said to vibrate through the very earth. The purpose? To draw forth entities from the liminal spaces between worlds, to compel them to reveal hidden knowledge or grant unspeakable power. Eyewitness accounts, though rare and often dismissed as fevered dreams, describe unsettling phenomena. The air growing heavy and cold, disembodied whispers slithering through the darkness, and the stones themselves appearing to pulse with a faint internal light. These chilling encounters fuel the persistent belief in unexplained mysteries. The true terror, however, lay not just in their communication with these entities, but in the sacrifices they offered. Not always blood, though that was a part of their dark tapestry. More often, it was something far more insidious, emotions. They sought to extract raw fear, profound grief, or the deepest despair from their victims, believing these potent human energies to be the most delectable offerings to the shadow beings they served. Think of a place where happiness goes to die, where hope is systematically suffocated. This psychological dread is what makes their story so truly horrifying. These forgotten rituals of the shadow cult were designed to break the human spirit. One particularly disturbing legend tells of the Harvest of Sorrows, a ritual conducted during times of plague or famine. The cultists would infiltrate grieving communities, not to offer comfort, but to amplify the collective despair. They would subtly spread rumors, sow discord, and perform unseen acts that heightened anxiety and sorrow. Then, at the peak of the community's suffering, they would gather in a hidden location, using the collective emotional torment as a potent offering, a feast for their shadowy masters. The subsequent sudden cessation of misfortune in these afflicted areas was often attributed to divine intervention, but some whispered of a darker bargain, a price paid in intangible anguish. The historical facts, though scarce, hint at these bizarre eyewitness accounts being more than just folklore. As the centuries passed, the shadow cult's practices became more sophisticated, their reach more extensive. They began to infiltrate positions of power, subtly manipulating events to serve their arcane agenda. No longer confined to desolate forests, their rituals moved into the hidden chambers beneath grand estates, the forgotten cellars of ancient monasteries, and the unseen corners of bustling cities. The creaking of an old house, the cold draft in a seemingly sealed room, these became their new cathedrals, their silent places of power. This blend of mundane settings with the utterly supernatural makes their story so compelling, so ripe for those interested in haunted history and paranormal phenomena. Imagine walking through a bustling market in an old European city, sunlight glinting off cobblestones, the air filled with the scent of spices and fresh bread. But beneath your feet, in a forgotten crypt, robed figures conduct a ritual that ripples through the fabric of reality, unseen, unheard by the masses above. This duality, this hidden horror beneath the mundane, is the true essence of their chilling influence. Their impact was a slow, subtle poison seeping into the collective consciousness, creating an undercurrent of unease that persists to this day in unexplained mysteries. The cult's primary objective shifted over time from mere communion to active manipulation of reality itself. They believed that by accumulating enough emotional energy and by performing a series of increasingly complex rituals, they could tear wider the veil between dimensions, allowing their shadowy patrons to fully manifest in our world. This was the ultimate ambition of the shadow cult, not just to witness the abyss, but to invite it in. This terrifying goal, shrouded in secrecy, forms the core of their unnerving legacy. The final, most infamous ritual attributed to the shadow cult, known only as the Grand Convergence, was said to be an event of catastrophic proportions. It was designed to occur at a precise astrological alignment, a moment when the cosmic energies were most conducive to interdimensional travel. The location for this ultimate ritual varied in different legends, some pointing to ancient temples, others to specific ley line intersections around the globe. The few historical facts we have are often obscured by layers of metaphor and cryptic warnings, hinting at an event that nearly plunged the world into an eternal twilight. One particularly chilling account, found etched into a crumbling parchment in an antique shop in Hanoi, spoke of a ritual site located deep within a cavern system near Ha Long Bay. It described luminous fungi pulsating with an unnatural light, and the constant sound of dripping water echoing like a heartbeat in the oppressive darkness. It was here, the text implied, that the cult intended to make their final, desperate bid for power. What would you do if you were exploring such a cavern and stumbled upon carvings depicting grotesque figures performing unspeakable acts, their eyes burning with an otherworldly light? The culmination of the Grand Convergence, thankfully, never fully succeeded. Or so we hope. Legends suggest that internal strife, perhaps a rebellion from within the cult by members who finally grasped the true horror of their ambitions, led to its disruption. Other theories point to a clandestine order of light worshippers, their names also lost to time, who actively worked to thwart the cult's plans. Whatever the cause, the ritual was apparently interrupted, leaving behind not a triumph of shadow, but a profound scar on the fabric of reality. This is why these forgotten rituals remain unexplained mysteries. The aftermath of the Grand Convergence. Its failure saw the shadow cult splinter and retreat further into the fringes, their influence severely diminished. Yet, their legacy lingers. Anomalous energy fluctuations, sudden cold spots in historically significant locations, and a pervasive sense of unease in certain ancient places are often attributed to the residual energies of their thwarted rituals. Many real ghost stories and paranormal encounters reported in subsequent centuries are, by some theorists, believed to be echoes of the shadow cult's attempts to breach our reality. Even today, those who delve into the truly dark aspects of paranormal history report strange occurrences when researching the shadow cult. Books seem to fall from shelves, whispers are heard just beyond the threshold of hearing, and a feeling of being watched becomes overwhelmingly strong. It's as if the very act of seeking knowledge about them draws their attention, a faint tendril of their forgotten power reaching out from the shadows. You wouldn't want to be alone if you felt that icy touch, that unseen gaze upon your back. So, the next time you feel an inexplicable chill, or hear a sound that isn't quite a whisper and isn't quite silence, remember the forgotten rituals of the shadow cult. Remember their ambition to tear open the world and unleash the primordial darkness within. Because while they may be gone, their shadows, like all true horrors, have a habit of lingering, waiting for the opportune moment to once again step into the light. The chilling encounters they orchestrated have become part of our collective consciousness, a testament to the fact that some mysteries are best left undisturbed. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of tonight's journey into the abyss. But before we part ways, I have to ask, what other forgotten histories, what other unexplained mysteries do you believe still lurk in the shadows, waiting for someone to uncover their chilling truth?